We kind of expected this outcome, but I don't know that we expected the decision today. But exactly what was the decision and the significance of it? Walk us through it.
So the significance is that the pillar of the tariffs that the president has been imposing over the last year does not give him tariff authority, the Supreme Court said. It knocked out more than half of the tariffs that Donald Trump has imposed since returning to office. The Supreme Court said that statute, which gives the president certain powers during economic emergencies, does not include the tariff power. And that was sort of the fundamental dividing point. The dissenting justices said, yes, it does. Now, as the president suggested, there are other tariff authorities. He's going to try to invoke those as much as he can. But those do tend to be more cumbersome, more limited. And so we'll see just how much he's able to replace the tariffs that have been struck down.
Where does this go next? Is this ever coming back to the Supreme Court? Or are the next steps here really going just back to lower courts?
It's really going to be the lower courts. There will be big fights over refunds. In that press conference, the president said he expects that to be litigated over a matter of years. It's not yet clear what argument the administration has against refunds for the $170 billion that have been paid in these tariffs under this law, but it sounds like they are prepared to at least make some of them. So that will be a big fight. And then we may well have future fights over these other laws, including the one that the president said he is going to use to impose that 10% global tariff. That's a more limited authority that is supposed to extend only for 150 days. There may be questions about the exact parameters of what Donald Trump can do under that law.
I am curious too, Greg, about what the president said about foreign influence of the Supreme Court. And he said, in my opinion, the court has been swayed. What is your read on that? And what is he maybe insinuating?
It's a bit of a head scratcher. The president, of course, has always said that these tariffs are paid by foreign countries, not by U.S. importers. Well, U.S. importers have made very clear in suing over these things that they're the ones who are paying for them. And so that is perhaps what he's alluding to there. Certainly no evidence of that I've seen in the opinion that it was anything other than their interpretation of what the law and the Constitution require.
I'm wondering, this decision, the 6-3 decision, what kind of clarity does it give us about just how much power the executive branch has? Because, of course, right after the decision, we have Trump coming out and saying, floating another 10% global tariff.
Yeah, well, so kind of two halves to the answer. One half is the president is right. He has other authorities, and the Supreme Court didn't say you couldn't put in place any tariffs at all. You just can't do it using this law that the president has used so far up until now to basically impose tariffs for any reason at all that he wants. So in that sense, it's narrow. But the court also, in a section that was joined by two Trump appointees, Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett, and also the Chief Justice John Roberts, talked about Congress's tariff authority, Congress's taxing authority, and said that unless Congress has clearly handed over that power to the president, we're not just going to assume that the president can do something. There are actual limits to what he can do, and the court invoked some of the opinions it used to roll back, to trim, to knock out some of Joe Biden's initiatives. So the court, at least, three Republican-appointed members of the court, as well as the liberals, were trying to send the message that, hey, we are putting some real limits on what this president, like all presidents, can do.